This is the Emperor. Card number 4 of the Tarot's major arcana. The father, the authority, the builder of empires, and protector of order. And these are 3 men from Gladiator. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, Commodus, his insecure son, and Maximus, the general who should have been emperor. 3 men, 3 versions of the emperor. 1 wise and just, 1 tyrannical and weak, 1 who embodies true leadership without ever wearing a crown. The emperor represents authority, structure, protection, and the father archetype. But he also represents the shadow side of power: tyranny, rigidity, domination, and the abuse of authority. By the end of this video, you'll understand what the emperor means when he appears in a reading, what he looks like reversed, and why Gladiator is the perfect demonstration of earned authority versus stolen power. Subscribe to Occult Cinema and continue this journey with me through all 22 major arcana cards, each revealed through the language of film. Every card is a movie, every movie is a message. Stay watching, because in Occult Cinema, the screen is the sigil. Let's begin. Understanding the Emperor card. The Emperor is card number 4 in the Tarot's major arcana. After the Fool takes the leap, the Magician manifests, the High Priestess guards mysteries, and the Empress creates and nurtures. The Emperor appears to provide structure, protection, and order. In Kabbalistic tradition, the Emperor represents Path 15 on the Tree of Life, connecting Chokmah, wisdom, the masculine creative force, to Tifereth, beauty, the balanced heart center. This is the path where raw power becomes disciplined leadership, where force becomes structure, where the warrior becomes the king. The Emperor corresponds to the Hebrew letter He, which means window, the opening through which light and air enter, the perspective from which the ruler sees his domain. And he corresponds to the zodiac sign Aries, ruled by Mars, the warrior, the pioneer, the one who takes action and leads the charge. Look at the traditional imagery. The Emperor sits on a stone throne decorated with ram heads, symbols of Aries. He wears armor beneath his robes because he is both warrior and ruler. In one hand, he holds an ankh, symbol of life and power. In the other, an orb representing his dominion over the material world. On his head sits a crown. Behind him rise barren mountains, representing the permanence and stability of structure, the unchanging foundation upon which civilization is built. The Emperor is not soft. He is not flexible. He is the rock, the foundation, the law. He is the father who protects through strength, who provides through discipline, who builds systems that outlast him. The Emperor's core message is this: create structure, establish order, protect what matters, lead with strength and wisdom. When the Emperor appears upright in a reading, he signals a time for leadership, discipline, and building lasting structures. He represents authority earned through action, protection of the vulnerable, strategic thinking, and the establishment of rules and systems. The Emperor says, take charge, create order, build something that will endure. In career readings, the Emperor means leadership opportunities and building systems. In relationships, he means commitment, stability, and the father figure. In finances, he means strategic planning and building wealth. In spirituality, he means discipline in practice and structure in belief. When the Emperor appears reversed, he reveals the shadow side of authority. The reversed Emperor can mean several things. First, tyranny and domination. Authority abused. Power used to control rather than protect. The ruler who demands obedience through fear rather than earning respect through wisdom. Second, rigidity and inflexibility. Rules that strangle rather than support. Structure that becomes prison. The inability to adapt or show compassion. Third, weakness and absent authority. The father who abandons. The leader who won't lead. The structure that collapses because no one maintains it. The reversed Emperor asks, are you dominating or leading? Are you too rigid or too weak? Are you abusing power or failing to use it? And this is exactly what we see in Gladiator. Marcus Aurelius embodies the upright emperor, wise, strong, with earned authority. Commodus embodies the reversed emperor, tyrannical, insecure, with stolen authority. And Maximus shows us what true emperor energy looks like even without a crown. Leadership through action, authority through respect, and strength through honor. Marcus Aurelius, the upright emperor. The film opens with war. The Roman legions are fighting Germanic tribes on the northern frontier. Leading them is General Maximus. Watching from a distance is Marcus Aurelius, the aging emperor of Rome. Marcus Aurelius is the upright emperor in his purest form. He's a philosopher king, a real historical figure who wrote Meditations, one of the foundational texts of Stoic philosophy. He earned his authority through wisdom and military victory. He's respected, not feared. He's built an empire that spans the known world, and now, at the end of his life, he's thinking about legacy. Marcus tells Maximus something crucial. There was once a dream that was Rome. You could only whisper it. Anything more than a whisper, and it would vanish. That dream was the Republic, where power belonged to the Senate and the people, not to emperors and dynasties. Marcus wants to restore that dream. He wants to end the line of emperors and return power to the people. This is the upright emperor's wisdom, knowing when to give up power, understanding that the system is more important than the individual, thinking of future generations rather than personal glory. And Marcus has made a decision. He will not pass the throne to his son Commodus. Instead, he asks Maximus to become the protector of Rome, to hold power temporarily and then return it to the Senate. This is leadership based on merit, not bloodline. This is the emperor choosing the best person for the role, even if it means rejecting his own son. This is wisdom over sentiment, the good of Rome over family loyalty. Marcus Aurelius represents everything the emperor card means when upright: authority earned through action, protection of the people, strategic thinking about the future, discipline and wisdom, and the willingness to build systems that outlast personal ambition. But Marcus has a fatal flaw. He failed as a father, and that failure is about to destroy everything. Commodus, the reversed emperor. Commodus arrives at the military camp. He's Marcus's son, and he expects to be named emperor. He's spent his whole life craving his father's approval, desperate to be seen as worthy, trying to earn love through achievement. But Marcus tells him the truth. You will not be emperor. You are not a moral man. You lack the wisdom and strength Rome needs. Commodus is devastated, and in that devastation, he reveals exactly why he's the reversed emperor. He doesn't ask how he can become better. He doesn't accept the judgment and work to improve. Instead, he murders his father. He suffocates Marcus Aurelius in an embrace, takes the throne through patricide, and declares himself emperor. This is authority stolen, not earned. This is power taken through violence, not granted through respect. This is the reversed emperor, insecure, desperate for validation, willing to destroy rather than build. Commodus's entire reign is defined by his insecurity. He needs to be loved. He needs to be told he's great. He asks his sister Lucilla, "Am I not merciful?" Because he needs her to confirm it. He can't simply be merciful and know it in himself. He needs external validation constantly. When Maximus becomes famous in the Gladiator arena and the crowd chants his name, Commodus is consumed with jealousy. "They call for you, not for me," he tells Maximus. The reversed emperor cannot tolerate anyone else having authority or respect. He must be the only source of power. Commodus tries to have Maximus killed multiple times in the arena. He manipulates his sister by threatening her son. He arrests senators who oppose him. He rules through fear and spectacle, giving the people bread and circuses to distract them from his tyranny. And in the final confrontation, Commodus reveals his ultimate cowardice. He challenges Maximus to single combat in the arena, but before the fight, he stabs Maximus in the lung with a hidden blade. He can't face Maximus in a fair fight because he knows he'd lose. He has to cheat to stack the deck, to ensure victory through deception rather than strength. This is the reversed emperor in every way. Tyranny instead of leadership, fear instead of respect, insecurity instead of confidence, cowardice instead of courage, destruction instead of building, selfishness instead of service. Commodus is what happens when someone who shouldn't have authority takes it anyway. He's the false king, the tyrant, the emperor who destroys rather than protects. Maximus, the emperor without a crown. Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the north, general of the Felix legions, loyal servant to the true emperor, Marcus Aurelius. Maximus never becomes emperor. He dies before he can accept Marcus's offer. But throughout the film, Maximus embodies everything the emperor card represents in its highest form. Maximus earns loyalty through action. His soldiers follow him not because they have to, but because they respect him. He leads from the front. He fights alongside his men. Before the opening battle, he walks through the ranks, touching shoulders, making eye contact, connecting with each soldier. This is leadership through presence, through shared sacrifice, through earned respect. When Marcus offers him power, Maximus refuses. He doesn't want to rule. He wants to go home to his farm, to his wife and son. This is the humility of the true emperor, understanding that authority is a burden, not a prize. The best leaders are often those who don't seek power for its own sake. But Commodus takes the throne and orders Maximus's execution. Maximus escapes, but his family is murdered. His wife and son are crucified and burned. Everything he loved is destroyed, and Maximus is sold into slavery. Even as a slave, even as a gladiator forced to fight for the entertainment of crowds, Maximus commands respect. His trainer Proximo tells him, "Win the crowd, and you will win your freedom." And Maximus does. Not through showmanship or pandering, but through skill, courage, and honor. When he's finally brought to the Colosseum in Rome and forced to fight in front of Commodus, Maximus reveals his identity. "My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the north, general of the Felix legions, loyal servant to the true emperor, Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next." The crowd erupts. They love him, and Commodus cannot kill him because the crowd won't allow it. Maximus has won their hearts through strength and honor, the two words he lives by. This is the emperor's true power, authority that comes from within, that doesn't depend on titles or crowns, that exists because of who you are and how you act, not what position you hold. Even dying, wounded by Commodus's cowardly blade, Maximus defeats the false emperor in combat, and with his last breaths, he gives orders: free the gladiators, reinstate Senator Gracchus, restore the Republic. He uses his final moments of authority to build a better system, to think of others, to complete Marcus Aurelius's dream. Maximus is the emperor without a crown. He's the leader who serves rather than demands service. He's the warrior king who protects the weak, honors his word, and builds something greater than himself. Structure and empire. The emperor card isn't just about individual leaders. It's about structure, systems, and the empires we build. Rome is the structure in Gladiator. It's the civilization that Marcus Aurelius wants to protect, that Commodus corrupts, and that Maximus ultimately restores. Rome has systems: the Senate for governance, the legions for defense, the laws for order, the Colosseum for social cohesion. These systems are what make Rome more than just a collection of people. They're what allows civilization to function, to endure, and to outlast any individual ruler. Marcus Aurelius understands this. He knows that Rome is bigger than any emperor. That's why he wants to restore the Republic, to create a system that doesn't depend on having a wise emperor, a system that can survive even when flawed men hold power. Commodus doesn't understand this. He thinks Rome exists to glorify him. He uses the systems for personal gain. He corrupts the Senate, manipulates the games, and turns the structures of civilization into tools of tyranny. Maximus understands what Marcus understood. Even dying, he thinks about the system. He doesn't try to make himself emperor. He restores power to the Senate. He frees the slaves, and he builds a better structure. This is what the Emperor card teaches. Your job as a leader isn't to glorify yourself. It's to build systems that will outlast you, to create structures that protect people even when you're gone, to think about the civilization you're leaving behind. The upright emperor builds. The reversed emperor destroys. The true emperor knows that the empire is more important than the emperor. The father archetype. The emperor is the father, and Gladiator is deeply concerned with fathers, sons, and the legacy passed between generations. Marcus Aurelius is a father who failed. He was a great emperor but a poor father. He was so busy ruling Rome that he neglected Commodus, creating the insecurity and desperate need for approval that turned his son into a monster. Marcus admits this. "Your faults as a son is my failure as a father. This is the shadow of the emperor, the father so focused on his empire that he abandons his children. The leader so concerned with the big picture that he neglects the personal. The builder of civilizations who can't build a healthy relationship with his own son. Commodus is the son desperate for his father's love. Everything he does is an attempt to earn Marcus's approval, even after Marcus is dead. He needs to be told he's great, he's merciful, he's worthy. He never received that validation as a child, and now he demands it from everyone as an adult. This is what happens when the emperor fails as a father. The next generation becomes tyrannical, insecure, and destructive. Maximus is also a father. His son is murdered, and that loss drives everything he does. He fights to avenge his family. He sees his son in dreams and visions. And when he meets Lucilla's son Lucius, he becomes a father figure to the boy, teaching him about gladiators and honor. The Emperor card asks, what kind of father are you? Are you present or absent? Are you building your children up or tearing them down? Are you passing on wisdom or trauma? The upright emperor is the father who protects, teaches, and prepares the next generation. The reversed emperor is the father who abandons, dominates, or fails to provide what his children need: authority. At the heart of Gladiator is a question: what makes someone worthy of authority? Marcus Aurelius earned his authority through decades of wise rule and military victory. The Senate respects him. The soldiers follow him. The people trust him. His authority is real because it's based on demonstrated competence and character. Maximus earns authority through action. His soldiers follow him because he leads from the front. The crowd loves him because he fights with honor. Even his enemies respect him because he keeps his word. His authority exists because of who he is, not what title he holds. Commodus steals authority through murder and manipulation. He kills his father to take the throne. He threatens his sister to control her. He tries to murder Maximus multiple times because he can't earn the respect Maximus commands naturally. His authority is hollow because it's based on fear and deception, not respect and competence. The film shows us this contrast most clearly in the arena. Proximo tells Maximus, "Win the crowd and you will win your freedom." This is the emperor's truth. Authority ultimately comes from the people. You can force obedience through fear, but you can't force respect. You can demand loyalty, but you can't command love. Maximus wins the crowd through skill and honor. Commodus loses the crowd despite being emperor. When Maximus spares the life of Tigris of Gaul, the crowd chants, "Maximus the Merciful." When Commodus asks, "Am I not merciful?" the silence is deafening. The Emperor card teaches, authority must be earned. You can take power, but you can't take respect. You can claim a title, but you can't claim legitimacy. True authority comes from competence, character, and service to others. The upright emperor earns authority through wisdom and action. The reversed emperor steals authority through force and manipulation. Legacy. Early in the film, before the battle in Germania, Maximus tells his soldiers, "What we do in life echoes in eternity." This is the emperor's deepest concern, legacy. The emperor thinks about what comes after. He builds systems that will outlast him. He makes decisions based on how they'll affect future generations. He understands that his time is limited, but his impact can be eternal. Marcus Aurelius's legacy is the dream of Rome, the vision of a republic where power belongs to the people. Even though he dies before achieving it, even though his son temporarily destroys it, the dream survives. Maximus completes it. The Senate is restored. The republic returns. Marcus's vision echoes in eternity. Commodus's legacy is tyranny and dishonor. He's remembered as the emperor who murdered his father, who ruled through fear, who died like a coward in the arena. His name becomes a warning, not an inspiration. His echo is shame. Maximus's legacy is honor and freedom. He restores the republic. He frees the gladiators. He shows that true leadership is service, not domination. His echo is the example he set, the lives he changed, the system he restored. The Emperor card asks, what legacy are you building? What will echo after you're gone? Are you thinking about the next quarter or the next generation? The upright emperor builds legacies of wisdom, protection, and lasting structures. The reversed emperor leaves legacies of destruction, fear, and collapsed systems. What we do in life echoes in eternity. The emperor understands this. The question is, what echo are you creating? The lesson. So what does the emperor teach us through Gladiator? First, authority must be earned, not taken. Marcus and Maximus earn respect through wisdom and action. Commodus steals power through murder and manipulation. True authority comes from competence and character, not from titles or force. Second, the emperor serves, he doesn't demand service. Maximus leads from the front. Marcus thinks about Rome's future. Commodus demands that everyone serve his ego. The upright emperor asks, how can I serve? The reversed emperor demands, how can you serve me? Third, structure and systems matter more than individuals. Rome is bigger than any emperor. The republic is more important than any ruler. Build systems that will outlast you. Think about the civilization you're leaving behind. Fourth, the father must be present. Marcus failed Commodus by being absent. That failure created a tyrant. The emperor as father must protect, teach, and prepare the next generation. Presence matters, attention matters, love matters. Fifth, strength without wisdom is tyranny. Commodus had power but no wisdom. Maximus had both strength and honor. The emperor must be both warrior and philosopher, both strong and wise, both protector and builder. When the emperor appears upright in your reading, he's telling you, take charge. Build lasting structures. Lead with wisdom and strength. Protect what matters. Think about legacy. Be the father, the leader, the authority that others can respect and trust. When the emperor appears reversed, he's warning you. Are you dominating instead of leading? Are you too rigid or too weak? Are you abusing authority or failing to use it? Are you absent when you should be present? Are you building or destroying? Maximus shows us what the emperor truly is. Not the man with the crown, but the man with the character. Not the one who demands respect, but the one who earns it. Not the one who takes power, but the one who uses power to serve others. Strength and honor. That's the emperor's code. Build systems that endure. Protect those who can't protect themselves. Lead by example. Think about eternity. Next week, we're looking at card 5, the Hierophant. The spiritual teacher, the keeper of tradition, the bridge between the divine and the human, and we're explaining it using a film about faith, doubt, and the cost of religious authority. You'll learn about tradition, teaching, conformity, and the shadow side of spiritual institutions. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop a comment. What's your emperor moment? When have you had to lead, to build, to protect? Remember, true authority is earned through service, strength, and honor. I'll see you next week for the Hierophant.